when you were in that position, where you've gone out, you decided your business was on the rise, you decided to scale, you decided to expand, you decided that marketing was the answer for that. At that point, how deep were you into it by then? How many fake leads had you actually come across before you decided it's enough?
We did it for about 9 months. It didn't take long for me to figure it out.
Okay.
Because we were paying so much money, all the profits from our good work that we were getting was going into this.
So you were dumping the assets that you had built through having a good reputation, getting those customer referrals, and basically just watching it be eroded by this process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it wasn't even the whole point of the money getting spent into the machine. That wasn't even built for us to win in the first place.
Right.
But it was the fact that we were racing 5 other trucks to one job. And the only thing that those homeowners were looking for was price. They weren't looking for somebody specific. They weren't looking for somebody that they wanted in their home. They got trained to go off of price. So everybody's trying to undercut each other.
Gotcha.
Then there was no profits in the job that you were paying to even get.
So let me ask you this. When we talk about marketing in particular, obviously, one of the big pain points in marketing companies in general is, well, for lack of a better term, BS leads, fake leads. Did you experience that in this process too?
Oh yeah. I'd probably say 4 out of 10.
That's
fake.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. 4 out of 10. Now that's only a personal opinion. Some
just
people,
your experience.
Yeah. That's just my experience. Well, there are people that do well with it. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking, there's no way these companies stay in business if somebody's not winning, right? It's got to work for somebody out there. There's got to be guys making money doing this. So,
but it's few in between.
Is it just a volume game? They're just throwing enough at it that they can get past that 40% of just BS that's out there, and get a job, and like I say, get a job based on price, obviously. So they're big enough that they can afford to take high volume, low profit jobs.
Yeah.
And filter through 40% fail rate, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's not even about closing jobs, right? They're just BS leads. It's just not legitimate leads.
Yeah, exactly. It's a numbers thing, right? And the companies that are able to withstand that are just bigger outfits.
Okay.
You can't talk to the company that has a 2-man crew in the owner. Gotcha. When the owner's self-performing the work with 2 guys out in the field.
Yeah.
You can't do that to that guy.
They're not the ones that can sustain that kind of, first of all, that percentage, that fail rate for the leads. And then on top of that, the potential for the margins being so low because they've had to bid price.
Well, yeah. So they're spending money to go out there, right? Whatever their gas and stuff is, the time to be able to bid the job.
They're sidewalking. They're doing estimates. They're right. They're putting their time and energy and money into that.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's taken away from the job that they were supposed to be doing in the first place that they're actually good at.
Yeah, well, I mean, because let's be honest, Dan, I know you. I come from a business background and from the insurance industry. I know a lot of contractors. They're really good at at being a contractor. They're really good at their trade. They're really good at their job. In fact, some of them are really good project managers. But you know what they're not? They're not good marketers. They don't know how to market their business. And by all accounts, should they be? Well, no. It's that old joke. It's, that it's the comedians, you're getting hired to be a comedian. And the very first question is like, well, you're a comedian. Can you act? Can you sing? It's like, what the hell? I'm a comedian. I'm really good at this. Hire me to do this, right? And why the hell does it matter? I shouldn't have to. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, most of us aren't good at marketing because it's not what we do for a living. We perform the work. We're on the front line. We're doing the job.
I'm not a marketer.
Yeah.
I've got a team.
Right.
And that's not my job.
Right.
That's not my place.
And that's what is that what you find when you go out in the industry is that most guys that are really good contractors aren't good at promoting their own business or are marketing their company?
Absolutely not. Yeah. I mean, the contractors are not good marketers. It's a full-time job.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense too. Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to learn marketing and you're going to market your company, or are you going to run your company or run your job site?
Right.
You've got to choose.
Yeah. So you have to count on somebody else to be able to read demographics, know what the demands are in the market, be able to research where to spend your time and energy for marketing campaigns. So somebody's got to know all that stuff. And as a contractor, you shouldn't have to know it.
No, you should be busy doing what you do best, talking with customers and running jobs.
Yeah.
And contractors are trying to wear 10 hats these days.
Yeah.
It's not how it's supposed to be.
Oh, the founding team. Let's do that one real quick. So as we talk about these things, you're talking about building this network, and you've used the term "we." Tell me about that. We kept seeing "we." You keep saying "we." So as you're building this, it's not just you. Tell me about your team.
So we go back to contractors, right? Talking with folks and everything. But us, as the team that put this all together, we're all experienced in the trade. We got over 75 years in the trade.
Gotcha.
With all of our different experiences, we have pulled together to be able to give our marketing team the information that they need to be able to build something that is worthwhile for the contractor.
So it's based on not just your personal experience, but also your company, your extended team, the people who've worked for you and the subcontractors, but also other GCs that have had the same experience as you have.
Absolutely.
Or similar experiences.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's very important. We already did my side of the panel about the insurance company. So when you talk about what you built and it being different, tell me about that. Tell me, because let's be honest here. We've all been exposed to marketing. We've all been exposed to sales, to ads, right? And everybody out there says we're not like the other guy. We're different, right? That's the foundational pitch for almost every industry out there. Tell me about that. Tell me why it is that you're different.
Well, you're right. Everybody is different, right? And that's the thing. They just want to have that little bit of edge, and that's all that they can say. They look like every other company out there, just like these poor guys, these contractors, not knowing how to market. They look like every other truck out there. They may be better than the next, or they may be the best at what they actually do, but they still look like every other truck out there.
So basically, they don't know how to get that information, what makes them different, out to the customer or the potential customer.
Yeah, we did.
Gotcha. Okay, so you've been there then.
Yeah. I remember having a conversation with the head of the marketing team, and he asked me, he said, Dan, what makes you different? Give me what makes you different. And it was, well, we do good work. We have integrity. Most people don't have integrity, and we give an honest price. And he goes, Dan, that's every other truck.
That's what everybody's saying. Yeah.
And then we started digging into the conversation, and out came what we call the cornerstone.
Okay.
And then this is what we dig out for the contractors. But one of the big things that we did that we found that other contractors don't is that we guarantee our price. When we come in and we sign contract, that is the contract that we end with. So that 30% hike throughout the project, all the change orders that come in.
That bid low and win and build.
The bait and switch.
Bait and switch, yeah.
Is something that we've never done. And I just thought it was normal.
Okay.
I thought it was a normal day for us. It's just the way we did our business. That's why people were choosing us.
So you knew as a contractor, as a person, that was not good business. And because of that, now as you go out in the industry and you talk to other contractors, you find that that's something that they're struggling with because out of necessity, they've had to do it in order to be able to get the job, in order to stay afloat.
Exactly. And that was the one thing that separated us. That was the one unique thing. That was what we were different. That's what made us different.
Gotcha.
And that's why my customers kept referring me. Is because you go onto our Google reviews. They finished on time. They finished on budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you didn't lowball an estimate to get in the door, get the ink on that, their signature inked on that contract, and then give them the real job cost.
Yeah.
Give them what it was really going to come down to.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have a customer that says that they finished on time, they finished on budget, and they went over and beyond,
yeah, you're going to stand out.
Well, yeah,
that's provider.
That's how we got our referrals. That's how it was, but we didn't know that was special. It was unique, and we didn't even know it.
When we talk about the leads and the reputation, how did you manage your reputation before? You talk about customer referrals, but I mean, did you have something? Did you have a platform out there where you had put up, let your customers brag about you, let them tell your reputation?
I love this question, actually, because with everything that we're doing that we have been able to put together, this still gets me, and I laugh, obviously, because I'm giggling about it right now, and it's genuine. It really is. I'm working off my first computer today.
No kidding. Okay.
I got my first computer 4 years ago.
Seriously.
5 years ago, I was still shaking hands. I didn't have a Google business profile.
Really? Okay. So you were literally doing it pen to paper, handshake to handshake, eye to eye. That's it.
And sometimes not even receipts.
No kidding.
We had built such a rapport and such a name of word of mouth
that you didn't have to do all that to build that business. Yeah.
No. Yeah. It was word of mouth. It was enough to keep us busy. We weren't a fake contractor, and we still don't claim to be one.
Right. But that's the point that you were at when you decided that you wanted to scale. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was the crux of that. Business is good, doing well, but that's how you're doing it. And you understood to get to the next level, you had to do something else.
Yeah. I needed to be able to get more people that didn't know about us to know the things that my customers liked about us. We knew we were a good company because we didn't have to do everything that everybody else was doing. And we were still staying busy. Okay. Our lights were on. Our bills were getting paid.
Right.
We weren't struggling.
Your guys were working.
Yeah. Guys were working, right? Yeah. Not the biggest company, but we were good.
But you knew in order to scale that, in order to be able to grow from that point, that you had to put that reputation in front of more people that didn't necessarily have to personally know your satisfied customer.
Exactly.
So when it comes to the network itself, is part of what you're doing for them, these contractors, is building that reputation, but also making sure that they understand how to put it in front of a new client.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, there's many pieces to a construction business, right? We kind of talked about wearing many hats, right?
Right.
10 jobs all at once, right? And there's many pieces to that puzzle that need to be handled, right? And the contractors aren't good at all of it.
Well,
so
that goes back to, you can be really good at a few things and decent to middling at a lot of things, but you're never really good at a lot of things. It's just not how the world works, not how people work. And so what you're saying is you help these contractors continue to specialize in what they do because they're what they're good at, and help them with the rest of it, with building that reputation, putting their reputation out in front of other customers, potential customers.
Yeah.
So not just marketing, not just lead generation, but helping them expose other people to that reputation so they can know, trust, and hire that contractor.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes into a little bit of an insight like this. Your Facebook page. Everybody's got a Facebook page now, right?
Sure. Yeah.
When we're working with a contractor, they get 50 pieces of blog posts on their own page.
Okay.
A month. They don't even have to touch it.
So it's not something that you're not just teaching them how to maintain their own presence or to promote themselves on social media. That's something that this network is helping them do.
No, yeah.
So they don't have to learn how to. So, and I mean, that's important to me because let's talk about this for just a minute. I've been involved in a number of business launches myself, and even as an entrepreneur myself, In order to be able to do that, I had to learn platforms. I had to almost effectively learn how to code myself to be able to do that. To this day, I still don't know how to do it. I'm not good at it. If you asked me to do it, I would have to hire somebody to do it. But I found that there were basically all these other skill sets that I would have to learn in order to be able to optimize that situation. And you're not going to these contractors and saying, we're going to tell you what to do and we're going to show you what you have to do. You're saying, we're going to show you what to do, we're going to show you how to do it, and we're going to help you do it.
Yeah.
And that's a big distinction in my book.
And in some cases, we'll do it for you.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's huge. Because if you came to me as an entrepreneur and said, here's what you have to learn to grow your business, I would go, with what time?
Yeah.
with what resources? With what time? With what money am I supposed to do that?
Exactly. Try and tell a guy like me that just is working off their first computer to go and figure that out.
Right. Optimize your social media presence. Yeah. Optimize your client, your outreach.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you mean? You know what I mean? I barely know how to, even log into my freaking Facebook, right? Or log into my, my Instagram or whatever those things.
If you're anything like me, just remember your damn passwords. It's a challenge. So.
Yeah, exactly. And contractors, they have all these different things that they need. Project management software. They've got their ADP or their QuickBooks and all those things that they need.
Accounting and estimating
and they're trying to do all that as well too. And you add marketing, you add putting, blogs and posts up so people can see it, trying to get out there and get people to actually follow you so more people see you.
Yeah.
I
mean, honestly, if you ask me personally, there's a reason that I don't do that because I wouldn't know the first thing about it. I wouldn't know how to do it.
So what, you're stuck by just having that word of mouth by a very small amount of people that are sharing your name?
Right. Yeah, because ultimately the capacity for you to scale in that situation would be how many people have I helped, and will their friends and family and loved ones ask them if they need a contractor? There's a lot of ifs. Let's be honest.
And this is perfect that you're bringing this up because there are a lot of ifs. Go and ask 10 contractors. How many times when they finish a job, they ask that homeowner to give them a referral?
What would you expect the answer to be? How often do you think that happens?
I'll give it some grace. I'll say 50-50.
Okay.
I'll say 50-50. But I'll add to that though. Because all contractors, they most likely will say, most of them will be like, hey, if you know anybody that you think that needs anything done, this obviously went well. I would love to get a referral.
Tell your friends, tell your family.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
Hand them a card.
Yep. Yeah, and maybe hand them a card.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So even that's a crapshoot then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of them are going to ask, They are. Absolutely. Especially when, when they're done or, the next day or something, hey, just, it'd be great if you, send anybody that you hear that needs anything done, send them my way. Right.
Gotcha.
Anybody that knows word of mouth is going to do that. Absolutely.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But there's a difference to that.
What's that?
There's a difference on how you ask and how you continue to follow up. That same customer from 2 years back has now forgotten about you.
Oh, sure.
And most of them do.
20 minutes later for me, but yeah. 2 years, 100%.
And they loved your work.
Yeah. In fact, I could see in a scenario like that, if you helped me as a contractor and my uncle says, hey, I'm thinking about redoing my floors. I worked with this guy. He was really great. His name was... and you're done. At that point, your referral did nothing because I can't remember your damn name. No offense, but the reality is in that situation, nose to the grindstone. Am I coming up with that name? Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Now, why? Why as a business owner and a contractor, if I'm relying on word of mouth, why am I going to let you forget my name?
Absolutely. Yeah.
If I'm not marketing and I'm not doing ads and I'm not paying to race to five other trucks, And the only thing that I got is you.
You're relying on my memory 2 years from now. You're screwed, brother. Yeah. Yeah.
Why would I do that to myself?
Yeah.
Most contractors do that to themselves.
So let me ask you this. How do you avoid then? How do you help them avoid being dependent on either my memory or even going back earlier, what I said was, the reality is, even if I'm super happy with your job, you went above and beyond. I am a raving fan of your contracting company. Whether or not I give somebody a referral depends entirely on whether or not they called on when they need a contractor. I mean, it's even, there's so many pitfalls in that, because now, granted, in my circle, maybe I'm the guy everybody calls, right? If somebody, my wife or my family, they need a contractor, they actually know I'm one of the guys they can call because I know contractors. But in the app, for the average person, who do you call? Who do you ask? You casually mention it over a family dinner at a restaurant or at a holiday, and like I said, maybe it's 2 years later, maybe it's longer. How do you know? There's nothing reliable in that, nothing measurable, nothing controllable, nothing about that is what I would want to hang the success or failure of my business on. Period.
Yeah, and the way that we do it, and it's one thing that I found out that we actually had done, but we have now sharpened our skills, and we continue to follow up with our clients.
So just staying in front of that customer, making sure that that you're top of mind as a contractor.
And the proven point is, even if you go look at our Google reviews now, because once we learned that we need a Google profile that I didn't know we needed to have, you go in on our website or on our Google profile, and every one of my clients are talking about multiple projects.
Gotcha. They're showing repeat business.
Every one of them are talking about, I would have them do it again.
Gotcha.
I would call them back for the next project. There's nothing that I wouldn't ask them for.
And instead of it being you being online or making some kind of ad or some video clip and throwing it in somebody's social media bragging about your company, you're not trying to tell somebody that you're a great contractor. You're letting the people who have had that experience talk about their experience and tell themselves that you're a great contractor.
Yeah, and be honest, right? It comes into integrity that everybody's got on their freaking wallpaper, right? That's what it is. It's wallpaper to a homeowner because that's all that they see.
Right.
But when you genuinely have it, you let it speak for itself. Yeah. You let that become the proof.
Yeah. Grandpa always told me, good people don't brag about themselves. They let the people they know brag about them. So, I think that kind of brings me to another step in this entire process, and that is that when you do have those leads, when you do have that information out there, those reviews that you're getting, how is what you do with those reviews different than everybody else out there, than your experience with a marketing campaign, for instance? We're recovering this, by the way. I just wanted to toss it back in because I want to take a different angle at it.
So what do I do differently for the reviews?
Right. So as opposed to those companies that you worked with in doing marketing campaigns, you mentioned earlier that that basically that you're renting your reputation, you're renting those reviews. How do you handle that differently? What's different about you?
Okay, that's actually funny. Let me talk about the lead companies first, right?
Sure. Yeah. Start at the beginning.
Every place you go to, right? You can even go into Home Depot and the cashier says, "Hey, if you like your service today, please give me a review," right? They're even asking for reviews at Home Depot. But these lead generations, these contractors that finish off a job, I'd appreciate if you leave me a 10, give me a review.
Right.
You know what I mean? Good Lord, come on, man.
Even at the gym, they've got a little kiosk there that you can scan with your phone and leave the gym a review.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same stuff, and it's so generic.
Yeah.
It is so generic. But this is the perfect example. When you finish a job, and the homeowner is excited, that's the time when you ask them.
When the emotional response is the highest, it's fresh in their mind. They're super stoked with you. They're super happy about it. They're the most raving fan that they're ever going to be at that point. That's when you want to talk to them.
Oh yeah, because I mean, imagine this. This is, I mean, I think it's funny, but I make myself laugh sometimes.
Sure,
because
sure.
It may not be, but imagine your client is the most happiest when they're willing to pay you.
Right? Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
So why not ask them when they're writing you the final check?
If I'm happy with cutting you a check that size, and let's be honest, the amount of the remodels that this kind of work costs in the industry today is expensive. So when I'm willing to smile and cut you that check, that's when you should be asking me,
right?
As a customer, yeah, as a consumer, yeah, absolutely.
I dare to say, I could be wrong. This is me just maybe talking shit. I dare to say 8 out of 10 contractors are not asking for that referral right then.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
And even that, if you ask me for a referral, again, going back to the kind of the failure of that model, if you ask me for a referral, I'm going to say, Dan, I loved your work. I loved you. I was so happy with you guys. They kept my house clean. They were efficient. They did it on time, on budget, all those things that I will brag about. But who am I telling? Because at that moment, if somebody asks me, hey, do you know a good contractor? I'm going to go, hell yes, I do. You're not going to believe what happened. I had all of this. And I tell them the whole story, right? And I would sing your praises to the rooftops.
But who do you tell?
But who am I telling?
Yep. Yeah. And it's funny because I love giving out information and I love helping contractors. And that's what we built a workshop for. Is we really get into the nitty gritty on how all of those things are actually executed. It's a workshop that we do and that we have for contractors that see this, and hear about this, and they want more detailed information. They want to get into the weeds. We've actually built out workshops to be able to go through and give them what it is that they need, and then go ahead, go take care of it.
So what you're saying is you're effectively you're open sourcing how you've succeeded in order to help other contractors do the same thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't it feel like building your own competition?
Well, it kind of is.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But this is a business, so we will make money. And the more comes in, the more we teach, the more we water out that poison that has been put into our wells from these lead companies, and it will shift the industry.
So it's not just about building your business.
No.
It's about changing the industry, changing the marketplace.
It should be back where it was 25, 30 years ago.
Okay.
When a contractor, man or woman, back then it was
mostly men. Let's be honest, but yeah.
They could support their family. Wife can stay home and take care of the kids.
It wasn't that long ago, Dan, that the single most lucrative thing that I could imagine doing, the people that I knew that were the most successful, the guys with the house, the guys with the boats, the guys that would take me fishing on their boats, they were contractors.
They were contractors,
yeah.
And they were out there swinging hammers with the bags on, climbing ladders, getting on roofs, crawling underneath houses.
Yeah.
They were taking care of their families.
Yeah.
They can't do that today.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're bad at their trades.
No.
Just like we weren't bad at our trade. We're not.
They were some of the best that I'd ever met. So, yeah.
But now they can't stay afloat unless they're big companies doing millions of dollars in revenue.
So I feel a lot of passion from you. And so it brings me to my next question, and that is, why share? You could have sat back and you could have made your construction company successful and helped your subs, helped your help your customers, right? Give them be the best contractor you can be. Why share it? Why is it such a passion thing for you that you help other people succeed?
We can barely survive these days. Cost of living has skyrocketed. Inflation has gone out of control. And the industry that is built, the back of the industry of the United States alone is built off blue collar working construction trade men.
Yeah. So it's more than just contracting. It's more than just the industry that you're in. You see it as a way that you can influence a bigger market, a bigger demographic. You want to make a difference.
Well, yeah, of course we do. It used to be good.
Mhm. And you want it to be good again.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why good tradesmen and good contractors can't enjoy life and not be millionaires.
Yeah.
And that's not the whole purpose of this at all.
Right.
Obviously it's much deeper than that, but the real purpose is to be able to take that contractor that is struggling and at least get him to a point to where he's making a decent living.
Gotcha.
And he's not living job to job.
Yeah.
Or
it's not a struggle.
Yeah. I'm not saying everybody's going to get rich using the model and everything that we've learned and us sharing it. You're not going to say that. Yeah. It could happen. Absolutely. If you put enough energy into it, probably do pretty damn well.
Sure.
But that's not the whole point. If we can take somebody that doesn't even want to get big, but is still struggling making $60,000 a year,
mm-hmm.
and we could turn that into 120, that's life changing.
Yeah, I can see where it would be. Yeah,
and that's not hard to do.
So when you mentioned earlier that there were specific contractors, there was a specific demographic that you felt like this was built for. Tell me about who it's not built for. Tell me who shouldn't come to you.
Any big nationwide corporation.
Okay.
Those big outfits that are building for developments that everybody sees online if you're on social media and scrolling and doing that whole thing at times where, I personally say it, right? You've got inspectors talking about mold and new construction. You got lawsuits coming from these big companies that are the biggest developers.
Yeah.
Right.
Nationwide brands. The companies out there. Yeah.
They're getting lawsuits like crazy because they're doing shady work. They're taking advantage of not only the homeowner, but all the subs and the contractors working for them.
Yeah.
They're part of the problem.
Yeah.
I
mean, you hear, I see probably a story a week, if not more, about a massive worldwide, or at least nationwide company, contractor, not paying their subs. Getting class action lawsuits filed against them for quality, just the safety issues. It was just crazy levels of that.
Yeah, and there's the race too, right? Yeah. The race is embedded in them too.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll give you 20 houses, to do the drywall. Yeah. We're going to contract you for 20 houses, but
the volume effect, basically.
Exactly, but they end up not doing phase one right, so it holds them up, and now everybody's struggling after that. Yeah. But they're locked into a contract.
It's a set of dominoes.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is not built for big corporations. This isn't built for the nationwide. This is to be able to give the power to your regular contractor, your everyday guy running around working with homeowners.
So who else isn't it for? What other kind of, we kind of eliminated the big commercial contractor. Who else would you say, don't come? Don't, this, what we're building, this network that you're building is not for you. Who else would you say that to?
Well, it kind of goes into wallpaper, right? And I hate getting into wallpaper, but if you're not trying to take care of the homeowners, you're not good. So
the companies that don't have that integrity, that aren't concerned about taking care of their customer and building that goodwill we talked about. Yeah. The fly by night guys, the guys who are trying to, the hit, quit it, take the cash and run.
Absolutely. Have your insurance together, right? Be established, not, huge or anything, of course, but be established, have your registry for your company if you're in a state that doesn't need a license, right? And
above board.
Yeah, exactly.
Squared away. Actually worried about your reputation.
Yeah.
What would you say to the contractor that say they're really good at their trade? and they just want somebody to take over the rest of the business for them. They just want to stay out in the field and do the work. What is that who you want to work with? Is that who you're trying to bring in?
No, I'm not. We're not trying to run anybody's business for them.
Okay. Okay.
Now, our membership does a lot of that.
Okay. So taking things off their plate, taking away some of those hats that they wear.
Absolutely.
But not taking over the company, not running the business, not doing it for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Because we talked about all these things that you are doing, and we talked about earlier a very clear distinction between, teaching me to do something and or forcing me to have to learn to do something by saying, hey, if you learn all of these things, then you'll be successful. But there's a balance somewhere in between where you're not just taking over the process for me and not running the business for me. I still have to run my construction company. I still have to be interested in building my business.
Well, see, the reason, and that question comes from contractors because they're fed up of trying to do everything.
Gotcha. It's frustration for them.
Yeah. It's not that they don't want to run their business.
Yeah.
It's that they're done. They're like, they're tired of it. They can't wear 10 hats.
Yeah. They either don't know how, or they just don't have the time, energy, and resources like we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So, you beat the guy down enough, and he thinks he's bad at his trade.
Yeah.
So all he wants to do is go back and get to what he thought he knew best, and get back to it.
You talked about being there yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feeling like it's you, the failure was you as opposed to the system.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're not bad at their trades. There's just, there's so many things that come into running a construction business that, you can get assistance. You can plug those holes in the business with a membership, like ours, in a sense, to be able to take care of those weights of those things that you're not good at. So they can stay running their business and do the things that they're better at.
Like we talked about, outsourcing marketing if you don't know how to market your business. But at the same time, you're not giving somebody ownership in your company. You're not bringing them on as a business partner to you. You're outsourcing. You're literally letting somebody else do that process for you or solve that problem for you by being your provider, by being being the expert in their field, like hiring an accountant or to make sure that you don't get audited by the IRS, or a marketing company or so on. So you've learned as you've gone along, you've learned to do that yourself, but you've never asked anybody else to take over your company or to run it for you, do it for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean,
and you're not interested in bringing that kind of client on.
No.
Yeah.
No, this ain't a franchise.